It's a big box, Miss Dog. What do you think? It's bigger than you. What should we do with it? Open it? Okay. Man, is that big. I whipped up a something to put it on out of one of these old like Black & Decker Workmates and put a piece of 3/4 inch ply on top. Hopefully that should be enough for it, because as you can see, it is 32 kilograms. And there's no room for it over here with the little guys, so he'll get his own spot. Got out the official unboxing knife. Oh, I'm really excited to get this bad boy open. Okay. So we got our special build plate leveling paper, manual. Oh, it's a USB drive, so it's going to have all our software on it. Dogley has come to help. What you think's in this big box, huh? She don't care because she can't eat it. Alright. Well, I'm so glad that came out and those weren't all the way around it. That has made things much easier. I think it's packed really well. Look at that down there. Alright, next trick. Get it out of the box and onto the stand. Wow, that's big. This is the Qidi X3 Plus 3D printer. Alright, I'm going to get it unpacked and we'll be back. I did not team lift. The dog would not help me. So now I've got like a 4.5 foot pile of packing, but look at this. Dum dum. Look at that. She's a big girl. Raised on a farm, I think. Wow. I mean, regular size 3D printers. Massive 3D printer. Although not too much larger. You can see the build volume there, 280 by 280. I have to check what the total volume is. But I think my next task is I'm going to have to get some clippers. Come in here and start biting those zip ties off. Alright, I'll be back. Alright, here's another size comparison. There's the Elegoo Neptune 4 Pro, your standard size bed slinger. And there's the box it comes in. Right next to the box that the Qidi Tech comes in, which you could probably fit 2.5 to 3 standard size in there. Yeah. The farm is coming along nicely. Alright, here's the accessory box that comes with it. Does that come with the whole? No, it's a narrow spool. Of what? Am I missing it? Filament diameter. Entering that way. Printing speed. Set the print temp. Doesn't say. Although I believe it's carbon fiber nylon. Alright, we got Allen wrenches. Another entire hot end. Nice little flat blade screwdriver. Some more wrenches and tools and a fuse. Spool holder. Glue stick. IEC style power cord. Rubber feet. RJ45 network cable. Nice scraper. Yep, that's everything in there. Get that out of the way. Then we have one other package that was in there. That's this one. I'll find the opening. Oh, there we go. It's all stuck with tape. So this is our leveling card. Manual. 16 gigabyte USB drive. I generally calibrate printers with a standard piece of like copy type paper. Something like this. Which has a thickness of about 0.10 millimeter, tenth of a millimeter. Let's see what this card reads. Ah, okay. So it's much thicker. 0.25. 0.2 is generally what I hear is the best place to be, so that's right in between them. Okay, I think I got everything removed from the inside there. And that was all of this, I mean really thick, like that's like 2 millimeter thick zip ties holding it in place, along with 4 screws that have the Z-axis bolted in place. So yeah, this thing is really packed well for travel. Those are the 4 screws down there at the base of the Z-axis that had to be removed. See, they're even labeled, but everything's labeled. It's very nice. Very nicely done. So far, the only complaint I have so far is this front door is a bump in that direction from cracking and breaking off. But I mean, what are you gonna do, right? All right, I will continue to assemble this machine. All right, I'm getting ready to put on the spool holder, which goes in the back. Why would you put this in the back? This machine is gigantic. Now I have to go to the back every time I want to change filament. Even the power switch is down there on the back. And look where they put the USB port. That's the back as well. Not so great. Alright, this is its initial power up. And what you're seeing here is the bed level. Well, you're seeing the bed heat up so I can reach in there and do the bed level. We're almost ready, 58 degrees. 59. The bed should start climbing as soon as we reach 60. And we're going to set our Z offset, which is the distance between the tip of the nozzle and that bed. Okay, 60 out of 60. Platform is clear. Says, please wait, platform and nozzle are initializing. Well, that sounded a little crunchy. I didn't miss anything up in there. was wondering where the platform was going. Okay, so now I gotta slip this in here and move the platform up. I can't tell which direction it wants me to go. There's no numbers. Look, I press it. It doesn't really seem to do much of anything. Alright, it took a while, but it's there. So now we press this button, and now it's going to do its probing and leveling of the bed. So we'll let it do its thing. Now you can hear the input shaper running. It's increasing its frequency that it's vibrating the print head at to find the resonant frequencies, which it can then compensate for in software. A very nice feature. Alright, it stopped. Not sure what it's doing. Now it's doing the other one. Feels like it's the bed. No, it's definitely the head. Thing's going crazy. I'm going to set the phone on the thing so you can maybe hear the vibrations better. Alright, the tool head input shaper just finished working. Let's see what it has to say about that. Taking its good old time. Alright, now to saving the values. Now I need to load filament. That's going to be fun. Crazy fast. Well, the first print is done. 1 hour and 3 minutes. Yeah, it's really stuck on there. We'll let it cool down for a while. Everything seems to be going really good, except I'm having trouble connecting on the network. Wi-Fi and wireless both. Neither one seem to be working well. So I've got a message into Qidi Tech, and we'll see what they have to say. It almost makes me giggle how fast it is. I could definitely see this printer as a competitor for you know what. Try a different angle. If you're wondering where that angle is, it's just right in the front door. There's the control pad. It's probably not going to focus very nicely. And then there's Speedy Printo. I think I'm going to nickname this printer Speed Buggy. So here is an example of a high temperature printing. This is ASA, which is a type of styrene plastic. It needs to be printed slower. I'm printing this at 50 millimeters a second. But it is being printed fully enclosed, as you can see. And we come on and look at the panel here. You can get an idea. You can see what is being printed, how far along it is. You can see our temperatures. And you can see we have no fans on, as a ASA doesn't require fans, and it would probably end up damaging it in some way. So it is just now printing the final layers on these print in place vice grips, which I find to be very interesting. I can't wait to get them out of there and try it. I'm just trying to get you a good view here. Very cool. I can't find in the documentation whether or not there's any air filtration going on, but I am currently printing an ABS part. It's that screw holder I've printed before. You can see it there. And if I can get this to focus, you can see we're printing at 270 degrees, 100 degree heat, 55 degrees in the chamber. I don't smell anything. So obviously there is some sort of filtration going on there, and that is excellent. So I have had the X+3 for almost 2 weeks now, and I have been just running it all day long because it is fantastic. What I'm printing out here is a large parametric box with a hinge and a clasp. This is being printed on what they call the rapid PLA. It's made for high-speed printing, and it is working absolutely great. I've only experienced 2 very small issues with the printer. Both times I emailed Qidi Tech, and both times they got back to me within 12 hours with the correct answer. The first one was simply a network problem. I wasn't able to access the built-in host through the web browser, which, you know, that's part of Klipper. Turns out I just needed to put a port on the end of it. And the second problem I had was after about a week, I was having adhesion problems. So I called them back, or sent them another text and said, told them how I kept adjusting everything, and I was still experiencing adhesion problems. And they told me, all I had to do was, they call it baby step. It just come in here and it has live Z offset, while it's printing. So there is no problem at all. This will be done here pretty soon, and I will come back and share it with you guys. So, my thoughts after running this guy for a couple of weeks. This is a really nice printer. Now, if you look up the Qidi X+3 online, you might see some bad reviews. Those are from an earlier version of this printer. This is the updated modern version. Let's see if we come here. Somewhere I saw it. Hang on. There we go. So you can see my system on a chip is version 4.22, the MCU version 0.10, and my UI is version 4.22. And they have been excellent to deal with. That's really literally all I can say. Qidi Tech has solved the 2 simple problems that I encountered. Any complaints about this machine? Well, it's loud, but all 3D printers are loud. There's not much you can do about that. You got to have the fans. I don't like so much that the tool head parks up here in the front, even for changing filaments. That makes it a little difficult. And I don't like the filament dryer thing on the back. I think it would have been much better on the side. And I'm thinking maybe I might modify this, take this panel off here, and put that mount in there so that, you know, we could mount the thing on the side and it'd be a little easier to get to. Also, putting the USB back there, it's kind of odd, although I guess that's probably where the motherboard is hiding. Because there's not much going on up here. The build plate volume is excellent. I've printed ASA, ABS, PLA, and PETG through here with no problem. Let's take a look at some of the prints. Okay, I've got a selection of prints here, not that little Batman. So this is one of the first things I printed. Little workable 2-inch vise. It prints in 3 pieces, the lead screw, the jaw, and then the vise body, and there are no issues with that whatsoever. Now this is an ABS print, metric screw gauge, and it came out really nice as well, and as you can see, there's no warpage with it at all. Now here's my first ASA print, this giant Batman head, and it came out beautifully. And I have no complaints about that at all. No stringing. I do notice a little bit of a texture change right here on the ears where it just gets above the level of the head. You can see how it's smooth, and I believe that's because it picked up speed here. You can see here we're still at the level of the head, so it has to do all this up here. It doesn't, so it goes much faster. But yeah, no complaints there at all. Here is a large PLA astronaut I did, and I forgot to put supports on him, so the underside of his arms there are not as pretty as they could be, but otherwise fantastic. Here is another ASA print I did. This is a large flat one for putting a breadboard in an Arduino. And I did get a little bit of warpage from it, but I believe that's because I pulled it off the build plate too soon. So I created my own, and I printed it in ABS, and there's no warpage. It looks really good. Finally, here is another. This is a kind of a heavy-duty PLA box that I printed here. You can see, fantastic. No stringing anywhere on it. Now, I did have to trim off some of the brim that I painted, and if you look top, you might notice just a slight bit of a. Looks like my Z might have been too close on those bottoms, so I can back it off real easy. No problem at all. So, looking at all of these prints, from the big to the small to, you know, everything in between, and running this printer from morning till night since I've had it for the last 2 weeks, I like it. I like it a lot. The price point on this, I believe, is $6.99, $7.99, somewhere right in that area. So it's going to be more expensive than the Bamboo Studio P1P, which I believe is probably its main competitor, or maybe the Creality K1. What is it different from, say, Bamboo's top of the line is the the X1 Carbon. This printer doesn't have a built-in camera, it doesn't have LiDAR, and it doesn't come with the ability to put a filament changing station on top of it yet. It might come with that later. But then the Bamboo is what, $1,100, $1,200. This is $600, $700, so quite a bit of price difference. It's running Klipper on a built-in host, as you saw, so there's absolutely no problem with controlling those things and adding a camera later. In fact, if you just plug a camera into the USB port, it will just start working. I think it is a really nice printer. I don't think it's your first printer. I think maybe if you've had an Ender 3 or a Cobra or a Viper or, you know, something along those lines, Neptune, and then you're ready to move up to something with the enclosed chamber, the Core XY kinematics, it's a great jump to that. But if this is your first printer, it's easy enough. You wouldn't have any trouble there. It just has a lot going on with it, and you might be better off with a printer that has simpler controls, is what I'm getting at. This lets you do a whole lot of things to it. All right, I want to thank Qidi Tech for sending this out to us free of charge for our consideration. And if you have one of these, and I'm not going to show up there. Come on, focus. You need some support. There's where I've been dealing with for my support, and like I said, they have answered quite quickly in 12 hours or less. So this is a large printer. Make sure you can accommodate the room for it. And when you're doing PLA, you need to open the door and remove the top cover so it doesn't get too hot in there. Spring steel, you know, PEI plate, standard, and it has little guides in the back so it snaps in no problem. I think in my limited experience, the Core XY machines are the way 3D printers are going. And you know, they say if you're going to the well, take a big bucket. This is a big bucket. It's a great printer. Alright guys, I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe. Big thanks to all the patrons. Big thanks to Qidi Tech and Larry at Z-Banks. Alright guys, that's it. I'm out. Peace.